Hello, my name is Ian. I'm here with the Big Blue podcast featuring me and my friend Jeff. I've been a Giants fan since day one, and I just really wanted to make a podcast talking about football, the Giants, and really just so I can get all my anger out at how bad my football team is. So I'm here with my friend
Uh,
Jeff. Jeff, would you like to introduce yourself?
yeah, so I'm Jeff, or Jeffrey, depends on who you're talking to. I've been a Packers fan, ride or die, go Pack Go. Luckily, we haven't had the same bad years as the Giants. Um, but yeah, I'm very passionate. I play football as well, so this should be interesting.
All right. So essentially, we're going to try to do a 30, 40-minute podcast today, see how it goes. We're going to go through abundance of different topics. But first off, let's start at the start of the week, chronological order. Let's get into it. Giants versus Eagles. Jeff, how did you feel after that game?
So I thought the story was really the Giants choking. I believe, in my opinion, that Evan Ingram making that catch kind of spiraled it downwards from there. It just led to a bunch of third and outs and, letting the Eagles get the ball back with some time left on the clock. So
Like,
not a
okay.
good
So
thing
when
to
I
do.
was watching that game, I'm just going to give you the scoop. Giants, 21-10, 4 minutes, 50 seconds left. No way we can lose this. The Giants are not losing this. The Giants don't know how to win, but still, we haven't won in Philly in 7 years. 7 years. I'm like, it's going to happen. We're going to win. It's going to happen. And then they score. They drive down the field. They shred us. I mean, absolutely shred us. They were down at the 10. Bam, touchdown. Now it's 21-16. They missed the shoe-point conversion. Things are looking up. The
Yeah.
Giants drive down the field and take off so much clock. Then, third down. All we have to do is throw this easy pass over. Daniel Jones threw a beautiful pass, a vertical route on the left side of the field to Evan Ingram, who is wide open. And you know what Evan Ingram does? Ball right through his hands. That was the moment I knew the Giants were the Giants and everything was over.
I personally thought that this game was very sloppy for both offense and
Absolutely.
defensive. Both teams just had a bunch of drops with the receivers. Carson Wentz actually looked decent.
Daniel Jones looked
Some
decent. It was
Daniel Jones, 20 for 30,
80-yard
187
rush. Don't
yards.
forget that.
Huh?
He had an
That
80-yard
80
rush,
yard rush. Oh, yeah, that 80
clocking
yard rush,
21
man.
miles per hour.
Hey, that's faster than Lamar Jackson on the year.
Yo, that's
So,
faster than Lamar's ever been clocked. Isn't that
well,
insane?
I know. So,
It's crazy.
a
He's
little
just not
interesting
agile
there.
enough to be put in that category.
Well, I I don't even know what to say. Like Carson Wentz to Boston Scott was just beautiful. That was the best pass of the night.
I mean, we could argue there was a holding on that play too, but we could have a different discussion.
Yeah, that's a whole
All
different
right.
discussion. I thought there was holding as well because as an O lineman, but um, I'm not going to call it because
Mm-hmm.
I would hate it if Brock was going to call a holding on that play.
So,
Um,
I'm sorry for interrupting, but how do you
no,
feel about the ghost of Eli that tackled Daniel Jones? How are we feeling about that?
you know, that's just one thing to say that Eli still looms over the Giants.
I would
Um,
say the legend himself is really just still there. I mean, he's alive. He's not dead, but he'll never die in the Giants organization. He'll be he'll be 200 years, actually a long time from now. He'll still be very much part of the Giants organization.
hey man, he won you 2 rings.
All right, so
Both.
I think we should finish discussing about the game, which leads us into our next topic. Why are the Giants so bad? What causes this catastrophic failure of a football organization? Because I have my things to say, but what does Jeff have to say?
From an outside perspective, I think it's the O line. The O line just doesn't look good on offense.
Well, Andrew Thomas, number 4 pick, has been dreadful. Jeff, you're a big guy. You could go and you could play better line work than Andrew Thomas.
I don't even think, like, personally as a O lineman, Andrew Thomas wasn't the best pick. I thought, for my opinion, Jedrick Willis out of Alabama was a better pick. Um, but I do see why they picked him. he's still very good for a rookie.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Look,
He just is.
no.
I don't.
Do an Andrew Thomas Google search right now. He's been like bottom 5 ranked left tackle in the whole NFL. The original reason the Giants were gonna pick him up was because he didn't have the highest potential, but he was supposed to be solid right out the gate. So if we were gonna try to compete, he'd be ready day one. But the problem is he wasn't. Turns out he's struggling really bad. It's unfortunate because I don't want to cheer against our new draft pick, right?
So for me, he's played 401 offensive snaps, which is 32nd in the league, and he has a PFF grade of 58.3. Now, I'm saying that's terrible compared to some other really good left tackles. Like, for example, David Bakhtiari has, 86 on the year. So, it's not good, but it definitely just shows you that he has to make that next step to be
Absolutely.
better. But I think what kind of hurts as well is I didn't want to say it to you, but Daniel Jones' pocket awareness is absolutely
horrific.
garbage.
Absolutely horrific.
It's absolutely garbage.
And the worst part about Daniel is when he eyes down receivers, he's staring at them the whole play. If I'm Daniel Jones and you're the receiver, I'm eyeing you, eye to eye, the whole entire play. So the defenders, they know exactly where the ball is going every play. It's kind of insane.
He doesn't look down the safeties. He doesn't do anything to the corners to make them think otherwise. His hips are not even showing anything. So it's just if I were to play cornerback, I'd be like, oh cool, I just gonna follow him,
right?
Which bothers me as a fan of the game. But I mean, Daniel Jones, man, oh my God.
Yeah, he is not exactly playing amazing football. And here's the thing. The problem with the whole Giants organization is Dave Gettleman. The team he's put together and the decisions he's made, like when he first signed Odell and he was like, we didn't sign him to trade him, give him the biggest wide receiver contract, now he's still on their payroll. Or you can talk about how he drafted Daniel Jones at the 6th when he could have easily picked him, or at least traded back 5 to 6 picks if he wanted Daniel Jones. And that's cool. Daniel Jones is good. But the decision to pick Daniel Jones at 6 is not smart in any capacity. And honestly, he probably could have fell to 17, which we also had, from another bad trade, which is the Odell trade. So, I really am going to put that one on Dave Gettleman. All right. I think we've had enough Giants talk. They suck. Fire Dave Gettleman. Let's start talking about your team, Jeff. How are we feeling about the Pack?
So there was a lot of good things after the Tampa Bay embarrassment that I just want to say. First of all, Devontae Adams looked like the threat that we were thinking he was going to be throughout the whole entire year.
Can I just say something about Devontae Adams? So I have a fantasy league. It's a no-money fantasy league. It's like a really backup league. I have Devontae Adams in that team. I didn't start him because I don't check that team, and I go look at the app. I'm like, oh, let me check. It's like my 4th league, and I'm looking at it, I'm
come on.
So I just want to talk about that. All right. Continue.
Yeah. Devontae Adams just played lights out. 13 receptions for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. A lot of great plays. 7 for 12 on 3rd downs, and all of them coming to Devontae, just making everything happen.
Right.
I thought Aaron Rodgers looked very well, or very good against a bad
team.
Texans team defense. Yeah,
with one good player on the defense. Actually, there's more than one, but it's not a good team.
Well, I would say the reason why he looked better is because our offensive line being so banged up. We didn't have David Bakhtiari starting. We had to move Billy Turner to left tackle, Rick Wagner to right tackle. And we've kind of just figured it out, and we contained J.J. Watt, which was surprising to say the least. He didn't have a sack on the game, which was awesome to see. But we just need to make that next step up to go to Tampa.
Right.
because we're going to be competing with Tampa
Well, you know
in
who's playing
January.
Tampa this week?
The Giants.
We're going to get ass blasted. But at the same time, we're going to win because I'm a Giants fan, and we're going to win. That's how it's going to go. We are going to win. I'm telling you. That's how it is going to be.
I don't even know what to say, man. I was looking at the Bucks Packers game, and we destroyed them this first quarter. The first quarter we were they ran man. We just did a mesh combination or a mesh play over and over again.
That was the first time I've seen Aaron Rodgers look shooketh. Like, I've seen him a couple times, but he, in the second quarter right before halftime when they showed him on the TV, I was like, is he okay? Did something happen to his family? Like, he looked screwed up.
The amount of pressure he was getting with against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense with an 8-man pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they blitzed another two guys off the edge.
Right.
Even after the 5 that was already there. And then they even blitzed another guy up the middle again. So you're just basically putting, like, 3 people into coverage, and it just worked. Aaron Rodgers is just like, I had to get the ball out. And yeah, I was disappointed, to say the least, that we couldn't get that win, but I feel like we kind of looked up.
This week must have been a much better feeling as a Packers fan. I felt like you could, after the game, you could turn off your television, you could sit down and just smile. Just a good game.
It was not really for me. It was more like we were supposed to win this game,
right? But you got a show out of it,
and we got a show out of it. Like,
I mean,
Jamal. By the way, the next man up mentality in Green Bay is there.
Right.
Jamal Williams stepping up for Aaron Jones, which he dominated that game.
Right. Absolutely.
So I was just impressed overall.
And the thing is, I was gonna ask you this topic, but I think I wrote it wrong on my sheet after we talked about the Giants. Do you think Thursday night football should exist?
Oh, we're going there.
Yeah, because I have some opinions.
I think it shouldn't, personally.
I'm with you. I mean, it's great. I love it. I personally, as a viewer, I think it's one of the best things the NFL has. Now, if I was a player, I'd despise Roger Goodell even more than the fans do. I mean,
for me, seeing how prepared an offense or defense is on this shortened week is kind of like that make it or break it week to see how good and how locked in you were. However, as a player, I must hate it because you're on this short week. You don't get any rest, especially after a tough loss.
You do kind of get a bye week after your Thursday night game, though. And the Giants are going to play from Thursday, and now they're playing Monday night next week. So they got, an extended period of time to gap. So they better show up looking nice against the Bucs. They're still probably going to lose, but I'm never going to cheer for my team to lose, and I think they can come through.
Yeah, I think, you have Monday Night Football.
Which I like. That can stay.
I love. That can stay. That, my friends, is an actual
Now that Booger's gone, I can watch it all the time. For some reason, my dad, he just loves Booger. Every time he comes on the screen, he's like, that's my guy, Booger. And I'm just like, oh, man, what is wrong with you?
Oh, what the heck, man. All right.
Do you want to flow into the next thing? Or do you want to...
Yeah, let's go into the next thing.
All right, let's talk about the games on Sunday. Because there's a few I wanted to talk about specifically. How do you feel about Steven Gostkowski? How do you think he's feeling after missing that kick? Because I can tell you what he's probably feeling. I think the Giants made a good decision taking Graham Gano over him in free agency. Let me tell you that.
I actually thought Graham Gano is a better signing anyways.
Right, but I wasn't too sure about it. I was like, because, that's a Super Bowl winning kicker we're talking about. And we were talking about a guy who's kicked in 6 or 9 of Tom Brady's Super Bowls. We're talking about a
very true
beast with the foot. I don't know if that sounded weird or anything, but he's truly nice at kicking.
I don't even think like Stefan Gostowski, man, it just makes me want to go like, you're so good for so many years, and
Right.
now you just
Like
suck.
Vinatieri, how Vinatieri fell off last year. It was so sad.
Yeah,
He
no,
deserved
I
the
think
treatment he was getting.
also I think Vinatieri is just going to be going down as the GOAT kicker.
Well, I mean, is there an argument to that?
Yeah, there is no argument to
Right. I
that.
just had to make sure.
No, I was just gonna say like Gostowski is probably gonna be a guy who's like, oh yeah, he's been to many Super Bowl appearances, but that wasn't because of him. Like Vinatieri actually made a lot of clutch field goals for the Patriots.
Absolutely. I mean,
Um,
how do you feel about the Patriots, the actual Patriots, this current team, getting blown out by the second string 49ers?
I expected it to happen. I did.
Well, I thought they were going to lose too, but I didn't think they were going to lose 33-6, and Cam Newton's job is now in jeopardy. That's not how I expected the game to end.
I think after Cam got COVID,
He fell off.
he fell off.
I kind of feel bad, to be honest.
I don't think it's even Cam's fault. Because he doesn't have a wide receiver to throw it to in the first place.
Like Jeff, again, put the pads on. You'd be a better wide receiver than half the guys he's throwing to.
I mean, I don't want to put the pads on for the Pats team because I dislike Bill Belichick because of how good he is. But
Bill Belichick, legendary Giants coach. Just want to point that out.
yeah, he was really good for the Giants as well. Very good.
86 champion. One of the greatest championships ever. Wait, okay. I don't want to bring you too off track, but did you hear about another scoregami game this week in the NFL?
Another scoregami
with the
game.
Chargers and the Jaguars, 39-29 final. Never happened before. New scoregami. Nice.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I like it.
Do you follow the scoregami guy on Twitter? It's the best account on the app.
I do not. However, I know what scoregami is, so.
All right, that's good. It is really a cool concept.
Look, if we're gonna be talking about the past game, I thought the 49ers were gonna win. I thought since Cam, they don't run the QB sneak anymore, is gonna have a harder time to even.
I mean, he's not as good a running quarterback as Daniel Jones.
No, but he's certainly that down power back that you see
absolutely.
there.
Like, I would feel confident handing the ball off to Cam Newton just as much as most running backs in the NFL. Like, he is a monster. Jeff, he's like your height, but he's got like a Saquon Barkley build. Okay, that's a stretch.
No.
Without the quads, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying, and I just...
By the way, the viewer, he's 6'5", 4? 6'5"?
He's 6'5",
He's 6'5", 260. Whenever I mention his height, which will happen a lot, I'll put that in comparison for you. 6'5", 260. Don't forget that.
Yeah, no, that's all I can say, really. It's just complete dominance by the 49ers.
All right, I want to make sure we don't forget any games, so I'm just going to kind of look through them. How do you feel about the Cowgirls getting blown out by the Washington football team? Because let me tell you, you know, like when Joker's like, that puts a smile on my face. Because that put a smile on my face. I'm telling you, I was so happy.
It's a little cringy, not going to lie, but definitely fitting.
Cringy, Jeff? Want to go there?
A little cringy, because you did the whole animation with it. But I believe the Cowboys just don't seem to be working with Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy was an air raid offense, and that's why he worked with... Well, he worked with us because we had Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb.
I guess third-string quarterbacks really don't work with coaches like him.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I also believe that the Washington defense is a good defense. when you're playing any team that's going to throw the ball
Right.
that much. Like, if the Cowboys handed it off to Ezekiel Elliott, I thought it would have been a whole different game.
Mm-hmm.
They did give him the attempts, but that O-line is just terrible.
And did you see the clip of him getting fucked over? Like
Absolutely.
I loved it. I loved every second of that clip. Made me. I'll do the Joker thing again. Put a smile. Wait, are you talking? Oh, okay. I thought your mic wasn't working.
No, I'm talking now. Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's shuffle over to the Saints and the Panthers. How'd you feel about that 65-yard attempt that nearly went in? Because I was in shock. I was like, if I just watched the record, because I watched the last record breaker with Matt Prater at halftime. If they could break it again, I would have been like, whew.
I don't even know what to say, really, because I thought this shouldn't have been a close game. This just shouldn't. However, it was. Because
It was some good entertainment.
The Panthers have a surprisingly good wide receiver core with Teddy Bridgewater commanding them.
It's nice. I like it. He's good.
And Matt Rule seems to be kind of like
worse than Joe Judge.
I don't want to say that, but it's almost I
actually like Joe Judge. I think he's getting way too bad of a rep. That's a whole other thing. We'll discuss that some other time, like maybe next week.
I personally think, though, Matt Rule has kind of figured it out, even without Christian McCaffrey as a focal point.
Mm-hmm.
With Christian McCaffrey entering in these next 2 weeks, I think this would be a different game. Because Christian McCaffrey enters that receiving core, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I can run these kinds of plays now.
Right.
And it just opens up the field so much more.
I believe he's coming back this week, right?
Yeah, he just returned to practice.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the Jets and them having a lead over the Bills, and then bam, game over? They scored 5 yards of offense in the second half.
I mean, credit to the Bills for just figuring it out. Like, this is what we need.
Jets.
Which is a surprising thing. Josh Allen didn't even throw for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like,
I against the Jets. I mean, they could put you in. You could throw a touchdown.
I mean, I don't even understand
I don't even want to make fun of them. The Jets are actually they're an NFL team, and you know what pisses me off more than anything? When people say that a college team could beat the Giants, the Jets. Listen, they might be able to put up a fight. They're not beating an NFL team. Those are NFL teams, like through and through. Right.
Yeah. No. I will say though that. Yeah. I agree with you. They just do look like an embarrassment. For an NFL team, but they're still NFL players, and they deserve
respect.
Yeah.
Browns Bengals. Sorry. No, you continue.
I was just gonna say real quick that Josh Allen, in the first 4 weeks, looks great, and then now he's off that MVP race. I still think he looks good,
to be honest with you.
30 for 43 attempts, or 30 completions for 43 attempts, 370 yards.
Yeah, 370 yards, no joke. Like, he's low-key putting up a sleeper MVP campaign. Him and Tom Brady are the sleeper MVPs, in my opinion.
I disagree with you. I think MVP Tom Brady is actually coming into effect.
But before this week, it wasn't in effect. It was this game against the Raiders with the 5 touchdowns. Or 4, I don't remember which it was. It was 4. That really changes everything. Which, actually, because I just mentioned it, let's phase into that game, because that has some implications in the NFC. How do you feel about the Buccaneers winning that game in Vegas at that new stadium against a very decent Raiders team?
I don't even think Tom Brady's putting up MVP numbers, and it personally makes me sad to see that happen. but I'm not surprised, especially with the receiving core that he has, and with the running backs that he has. Defense is also playing amazing. Devin White had 3 sacks on the game. Antoine Winfield Jr. with a pick, kind of just shifting all that momentum because it was a close game for a while, as we saw in the third quarter, and then just got absolutely blown out in the fourth quarter. 21 points to 3 points. Just utter, ugh.
All right, and after that, we're going to phase into the Jags and the Chargers. Did you watch that game or not really? Because we can just kind of...
I actually watched a lot of the highlights.
So what was your scoop? Because I was really just watching Red Zone throughout the day because I had no Giants game to watch. So it was a good day. I got to see a lot of great football. 4 games go to the last minute at the same time. Pretty amazing.
So I'm just going to say one thing right now. Everybody doubted Justin Herbert coming out of college.
Including your boy.
Including Ian.
No, I didn't disrespect him. Your boy.
Oh, yeah. No, my boy. Yeah.
Your Chargers fan friend. If you're watching this, I appreciate you. If you're not, well, whatever. Yeah.
He said that he sucks. He didn't even look good.
Yeah, he's like and next year he's like Lawrence. He's like Fields is better than Lawrence. Lawrence is gonna be so bad. I'm not gonna take Frankie's quarterback opinion seriously. I just name dropped.
I don't even know what to say, really.
Yeah, I just name dropped. Sorry. Whoops.
Justin Herbert I think is taking that rookie of the year offensive rookie of the year just by the handles and just running away with it because he is playing lights out. He can throw that deep ball more accurately than any other guy. And against the Saints, he did this rollout, throwing it in that tight spot on that sideline for a touchdown.
Yeah,
which was insane. That is some next level talent right there. And I just can't believe that the Oregon Justin Herbert that we know and the Chargers Justin Herbert that we know, 2 completely different guys.
You're an Oregon fan. This makes you so happy to see, I assume.
Oh, yeah. I personally thought Justin Herbert would have been a lot better if they opened up the deep ball more, and instead they threw it so much more horizontally. Justin Herbert can throw it deep, and I thought if they did that, they would have won a lot more games.
You wanted the Giants to get Herbert. I remember that. You wanted the Giants to pick up Herbert.
I was like, please get Herbert. You're going to have such a good time.
I like Jones a little better currently. I think Jones, once he gets a decent pieces around him, you'll see. All right. I want to talk to you about what I think is probably game of the season. We can have opinions. Seahawks, Cardinals, overtime game, down with 50 seconds left in overtime, with also arguably the best meme template of the whole year.
DK Metcalf.
The fucking DK Metcalf run to Buda Baker as he zipped down the field. How do you feel about that game?
So, 2 things. First of all, I'm going to say that Russell Wilson, even though people still consider him to be the MVP candidate,
he did not game.
Well,
no.
Not a good game at all.
He had some Eli Manning numbers with those picks.
He throwing 3 picks, putting him on the year at 6 interceptions?
6, which is still better than it's only
which
one
is
less
still
than Daniel
really
Jones
good.
Only 1 less than Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones only has 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, no. So, throwing 3 picks though in that one game, and I just got to give, and that's just the first narrative. But the second narrative was Cardinals defense just being super athletic, super fast, just covering up DK Metcalf, covering up Tyler Lockett, or trying to cover up Tyler Lockett because, he kind of went off.
Yeah. I don't know. You continue, sorry.
I was just going to say, Buda Baker, you just got to give the secondary a whole lot of credit. My man, Russell Wilson, which is getting sacked out there with the amount of pressure being caused by a terrible Cardinals defensive line.
And the
So,
Cardinals icing their own kicker.
yes, that was funny. That was very funny. That was like, why? Like,
Imagine icing your own kicker, Jason Garrett. Oh wait.
um, yeah, no, this is the game
2011.
of this is the game of the year so far. Like, this
Oh.
is
You know what I think
one
could
of
bring
my
it though? I really think a game that will be game of the year is the Giants and the Washington football team week 9. I think it's really gonna be a great game for the showing. With
I think the 49ers Packers game is going to be a better game that
a
week.
rematch, that's gonna be a decent rematch.
That's also the week that they played last year, week 9, right after
Really?
the bye week. Yeah.
And
Luckily we don't have that week.
I'm excited for like late season playoff get-in matchups. Now with 3 wild card spots, the end of the season is gonna be so much more tense.
I don't see any other NFC East teams so far make it. Sorry.
Oh, I know. We're just winning the division. That's all.
Yeah, no, right, exactly. Still getting a home spot in the playoffs. What
Wait,
the heck?
did we talk about the Bengals and the Browns? 'Cause I think it's the one game we didn't touch up on so far.
I mean, do we really need to touch on them? It was
Let's
a
just talk
great
about
game.
that ending.
That
The
ending
fact
was
that
insane.
Baker was leading game-winning drives shows that any team can do anything. That's all I gotta say. Because the Browns, I
Yeah.
feel, are almost like the Giants. They can get a lead. The question is, can they hold the lead? Like when they played Dallas a couple weeks ago, they couldn't hold that lead.
I 100% agree with you because Joe Burrow is playing out of his mind. Like, he's doing great. It's just the defense can't seem to do anything. And I think personally, that Bengals defense needs to be rebuilded. We're drafted a lot of new pieces next year. So kind of sucks to say that Joe Burrow is probably not going to have a winning season his first season.
It's unfortunate, but it's just how it goes. How are we feeling about Bears and the Rams last night, with the Bears being embarrassed by the Rams? Because I know how you feel, but I'm gonna give an unbiased take. I personally believe the Bears are still the real deal. Every real good team has this happen to them at one point. They have their game of when they're embarrassed. Like, I don't think the Bears are great by any means, but I don't think they're not pretenders. I think they're still arguably the second best team in their division. They should get into the playoffs this year. They're going to be a fine team. They're probably going to lose their first playoff game. But the point is, some people I was reading on Twitter today were going to extremes of saying Bears aren't even going to make the playoffs. This is the end of the Bears team. Like, extreme stuff. That got me thinking, How are you feeling, Jeff? How are you feeling?
So, as you know, I'm a Packers fan.
Tell.
As I stated in the beginning, I thought it was a great game by the Los Angeles Rams.
Great
Personally,
defense. Great punting.
Great. That was the difference maker. We got to think about that. The Bears had to get out of their own 5-yard line 2 times or something like that. Just driving down the field left and right. So hard to do against that defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I just gotta say, the Rams just out-coached the Bears. Matt Nagy is calling terrible offense. They're doing screens left and right, and my favorite film analyst, Brett Coleman, he said, if I see another goddamn screen by the Bears again, I'm actually gonna lose it.
They're just not very entertaining to watch. You see, I live in the greater Pennsylvania area, and one thing that always gets brought up or greater Philadelphia area, is Nick Foles, and how casual fans will say Nick Foles is so good and he's doing such a great job for Chicago right now. He's not. He's not very good. He's a fine quarterback. He's a leader. He can rally the guys. But other than that, I really don't see Nick Foles as nothing much more than that. I think you can agree with me. He's a great leader and he's a champion. But as a player, I don't think he's overall such a great quarterback.
I don't even think it's him anymore. I personally, he'll play against some really good defenses, and I think he's going to see that maybe next week. We'll see, because the Saints defense is kind of garbage this year.
Right.
They're just not giving the ball to Allen Robinson. They're doing these stupid calls, and Nick Foles actually went on the air and said that he doesn't even know sometimes, or doesn't even understand why Matt Nagy's calling that plays.
It's crazy.
Which is ridiculous. So
I actually agree with you. All right. I think that's all the games, but I have one more discussion we got to talk about. The injuries this season, man. Odell with the torn ACL. Landon Collins out with an Achilles injury for the rest of the season. 2 former Giants done for the year. 2 of my favorite players of all time done out for the year. You know how sad that makes me? It is. I hate injuries so much. Ruining the sport. I just want to get that off my chest. Also, I don't think Odell is going to get a big contract or get paid. He has to get paid, but post-Browns contract?
I thought Odell was going to look great this season.
He was looking great.
Kevin Stefanski is actually coaching a team that could probably win a lot more games.
I think they could go to a conference championship game, this team.
I wouldn't say conference championship.
They lose. Well, would you say the Titans? Actually, I said the Titans last year would go to the conference championship. I was very proud of my prediction. But most people would say a team like that doesn't look like a contender can contend. So
I thought this team just doesn't scream contendership to me.
I think we need a few more.
Baker Mayfield, just because of Baker Mayfield.
I agree.
Baker
He's
Mayfield.
The biggest liability. And also, I feel like we need a few more weeks of football before I can really tell you who the contenders, the pretenders, and the shitty teams are.
I can kind of see it in my mind.
Like the Packers, shitty team, so bad. The Bears, super good.
Exactly.
Real contender. All right, I think that's a good way to end this whole thing off on a laugh. This is a great first episode of the Big Blue podcast featuring my boy Jeff. He's going to be on every episode, but we're going to try to get some guests on here who are knowledgeable at the sport. And I thought this was a fun time. We'll see you guys next week, and make sure to drop a like. See you guys.